Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti. Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Jnana Murtim Dvandvatitam Gagan Sadrisham Tattvamasya Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunar Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasishtha, Utpatti Prakarana, section 67, and the same old topic. The nature of the soul. One might say that the vast sky supports the growth of a tree, since it does not offer any obstruction to the latter's expansion. In the same way, Brahman can be called the support of the world process. Brahman is untouched by the world, while at the same time, Brahman allows the entire world process to grow and expand. Subtle insights are being given in a very allegorical language. And spiritual aspirant should work upon this simile, a being like the sky. Sky is the best guru. So therefore, all incarnations are described as Gagana Sadrisham. They are like the sky. What we learn from the sky? Firstly, the sky doesn't complain. And remains serene in all conditions. Storms come in, lot of lightning, thunder, terrifying forces. And the sky goes on giving them room. There is plenty room. Come more. Don't be a miser. And scene changes. And you have silvery clouds, shimmering light, lots of wondrous drama going on in the sky. Whole festivity manifests in the sky. And the sky gives the space for all of them. And when all this drama goes away, the sky doesn't hold any record. You don't see any mark written down on a certain date. That was a big hurricane. It is a scratch of the sky. Try to assimilate it in a profound way. The deeper I am in you is the sky. It has permitted all fruits of karmas. Fruits of karmas, and the whole world process grows like a big tree. tree grows. In poetic long language, the sky welcomes the growth, allows space for its branches to grow. But that's just a poetic allegorical language. The sky doesn't have to do that. To put it in simple terms, all your experiences of the world are through your mind. Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayo. They are in the form of thought waves, vritti after vritti. And mind goes on projecting the drama of the world process. Just like in cinema show, frame after frame is projected. And screen allows all the frames. It is not enough now. Because screen has no conflict with them. So that they don't exist. It is from your angle that you ignore the screen and you see how many things are going on. But through the angle of a conditioned mind, you are experiencing the whole drama. To that conditioned mind, the message is being given that all this has come from God. They are His creation. And God is not affected by His creation. Creation comes and dissolves, comes again. And Shiva holds the Big Bang in his hand. And the bang after bang, the whole universe goes on coming. But this is to match up with your mind. And the mind is not enlightened. So when you try to explain things to a baby, to a child 5-year-old, then you have to create a drama. You put things in a way that mind can grasp it. Put it in the spiritual level. All souls remain just 5-year-old kid. More or less. The exceptions are those who have done good karmas and who have developed aspiration. But majority remain like kids. Therefore, great teachings are given in the form of allegorical way. How the whole tree grows, so vast. And if you think of the world system that you study, it's so big. Think of a ray of light coming into your room through a window hole. In that you see a beam of light and you see thousands of dust particles scintillating. Consider each dust particle as a cosmos. Now can think of it. If this, a little portion of this earth seems to be so complicated that day and night you are involved with news breaking. Think of the universe before you. How many news going on with every little star, with it. And if you are struck with wonder, But think of this whole thing as little dust particle. Now try to figure out the role of universes, world systems in the Chidakash, in the Akasha, the ether of pure consciousness. And that ether is the I am, not your ego. So, as long as you are bonded with your ego, you are led by karma, go up and down, go from one embodiment to another, face countless challenges, and that goes on endless. But when you attain enlightenment, then there is only the Absolute. All, put in simple way, clouds go on coming day and night. But in spite of what they are doing, the sky has never changed. It has allowed them, it has nourished them, it has sustained them, and it remains untouched by them. So to bring that within your understanding process. It is not simple, but it is a big truth. And that you need to assimilate. Firstly, satsanga. Secondly, your japa, sadhana. Thirdly, turning your daily life into a practice of integral yoga. Everything that you are facing in daily life is your sadhana. You are doubting God. Yes, sadhana. Every challenge you face with a sensitive heart to understand what is it all about, how to live better, and with a profounder understanding that you are under the umbrella of God's love. The Divine Mother's mantle covers all your personalities. If you lack that, you become demented. Mantle-less mind. I'm joking. But in spirituality, it is not a degrading term, it is a fact. All miseries are led by mind. Mind is Luna. All are lunaticos. Only Shiva keeps this Luna completely under control. That's the healthy state. But wherever you turn, you are trapped by mind's waxing and waning. A mighty tree exists in a seed, but when the seed is roasted, it can no longer bring forth the tree. In the same way, the world tree exists in a subtle seed state in the chitta. Chitta is mind. But when the light of wisdom roasts the seed of the world process, the soul attains release. It can no longer enter into the illusion of the world process. In one paragraph, what has been given is actually a whole volume. Style of the scriptures. And people reading them, they look over it, there's nothing interesting. Let me see what's happening now. But that's a normal process. Whether you study scripture in a very hasty manner, still you are grasping certain things that will touch your heart. But the ideal is to go deep into the understanding. Now, let me give you the deeper meaning. Pure consciousness is like the sky. And that's the reality of the whole world. Every soul, every reflected sun, the reality is the sun. No matter in what pot you are, and no matter what type of shine you have, all reflected suns are all forms of illuminations and nothing but the sun. All experiences are drama created by consciousness, awareness. You have sense awareness. You have awareness of your feelings. Your awareness, your joy and sorrow. Your awareness of your whole predicament. Behind all that is what is invariable factor? Awareness. Chaitanya. That Chaitanya is the sky. That Chaitanya remains unaltered. So how can you switch your vision from reflected sun, that type of experience, to the sun? How can you switch your vision from ego that is constantly shaking, the I am, illusory I am, to the absolute I am? That's the project of all scriptures. It's the essence of all religion. Now, coming to more practical way to understand. All your experiences, they proceed from your vasanas. Chitta, or the mind stuff, is like a farm. In that chitta mind stuff, you are sowing seeds. Every karma that you do, it creates its impression. Every experience you have, you forget about it. The mind doesn't. It has a special apartment. Without your knowing, it packs up the impression. And those impressions that are packed up, they are in two stages. Impressions that are extremely subtle, seed state called samskaras. Samskaras don't give you trouble. In a farm, seeds go deep into the earth, and sometimes a whole year may pass and those seeds remain sleeping. Later, through some storm and some type of happening, those seeds come up. I'm giving you this allegorical to understand samskaras. The samskaras don't bother you. Those seeds that have come to the stage of moving from unconscious to the conscious. In the beginning, the samskaras come in the form of vasanas. They are called vasanas. Your mind just begins to smell it. First, you don't know what you are thinking, what your plans are. Now turn your attention, turn your nose to your vasana. And then firstly you get a little smell. But now it begins to develop more character. Well, let me not dramatize too much. The vasanas that create all the world illusion, those vasanas are called ashubha vasanas. impure vasanas. And their analysis relates to 5 kleshas, afflictions. Ignorance is the root cause of all your problems. Being ignorant again is a constant process. You are always, a situation comes, either you resolve it or ignore it. Either say to the messenger, I want to hear what the news, or say to get away from me. That's what the news. I'm dramatizing it too much. But the idea is, being ignorant is not a simple phenomenon. It's an active. You begin to enjoy not gaining insight into things. You begin to enjoy being a nitwit. That also gives it a joy. Also, if you are narrow-minded, then you begin to enjoy not knowing what goes on, what's cooking in Sattva's house. Sattva is sattvic gunas. And you don't care. People say, if you didn't have anger, etc., you will have peace, harmony. Say, oh, who cares all that? So these vasanas come under in 5 categories or 5 stages. In children, the vasanas are prasupt, dormant. All children look alike. And you cannot determine what type of vasana is operating through them. Therefore, being childlike is described as the goal of life. But they're expressing that type of similitude, what belongs to sages. But at the same time, if you take it literally, to become a child, that's a big stupidity. Be childlike, but not childish. Be a Buddha, not a Buddhu. So that's prasupta state. As long as you are in babies, children, 5 years, 6 years. Now those people who have practiced sadhana, lived in a little controlled atmosphere of satsanga, they develop tanu avastha. The vasanas, the negative vasanas, they become so thinned out that it gives you an illusion that you have conquered them. Let me not be an illusion. Well, gross illustration is given of. If you put a poisonous snake in a refrigerator, it becomes so harmless you can wear a snake on your neck. It's harmless, it's beautiful, soft, tender. But the moment you start giving little nourishment, little milk, you get the bite right on your neck. That's how scripture are presented, through parables, through similes. So therefore, the moral of this whole process, if you feel that you have controlled a negativity within yourself, for 1 month it didn't show up, don't be fooled by it. Stay with your satsanga. Work harder to eliminate from this very root. But if you become satisfied by a little control, you have not attained enlightenment. Therefore, the moment you are satisfied, again the ego directs you to a path of ignorance. So that's about Tanu Avastha. Next type of state comes, is called Vichinna. These are not in sequence, they are different stages. Vichinna, you are able to create virtuous qualities. At the same time, your negative qualities continue also. Only what you do, you put a rug over your negative qualities. Virtuous qualities become the rug, and negative qualities go under. This is called Vichinna. Let me dramatize it. Sometimes he invites, there is some celebration going on, and now you don't have time to clean up your house. So all the cleaning done, and the dust put under the rug. And you get the whole crowd come in. And as they depart, they go on sneezing. Again, in simple terms, Vichinna state, you may think, I have controlled anger. But just something little happens, and you lose your temper. If you are sensitive, you will recognize your mistake. Then if you recognize it, you want to correct it, you are still in Vichinna state. Next state is Udar. You don't recognize your mistake. You lose your temper and someone says, look, you are a spiritual sadhana. Have you not heard anger is bad for you? You, how dare you say? I'm angry? Look at me. The person becomes frightened. Oh no, you are embodiment of calmness. And you enjoy that type of popularity. That's Udara state. The negative vasanas have developed generosity. But what's needed? What's needed is, as you begin to control your vasanas, first stage you come to Vichinna. If you go on, you don't understand that just putting under the rug is not the cure. But at least it's paving the way. Vichinna, then come to a state of Tanu. And then you are coming to final state. Dagdha Bija. Dagdha Bija means when a person attains enlightenment, enlightenment means that type of understanding that cannot stay with illusion. The light of the sun cannot stay with darkness. So once that light has flashed, just like film negatives become destroyed, all the seeds of negative karmas. They become roasted seeds. Now can watch your cinema show with popcorns. Roasted seed vasana allows you to live in the world happily because you are not going to create karmas. But if the seeds are not roasted, and suppose you are able to eat them, and whatever seeds fall, they go on creating new plants, new trees, new karmas. So you're watching the show and creating a big problem for yourself. You're living through the world but creating problems, world after world. So this is what is referred. The soul attains release. When the light of wisdom roasts the seed of the world process, the soul attains release. It can no longer enter into the illusion of the world process. Sri Rama said, O divine says, it's a great wonder that this world, though non-existent, appears to exist. Though petty and limited, yet it appears to be an expansive, concrete reality. This always puzzles human mind. Though in divine plan, you have very simple way nature has given you these lessons. What I'm leading you to understand, when you dream, how within a moment while you are in your bed, you enter into a world, vast world. A world where you have gone through a big past, facing an amazing, suspenseful future, and facing predicaments, sometimes very unpleasant predicaments, going through accidents, encountering terrible spirits and so forth, whatever. I don't have to go through that. But all that is happening in your dream. And when you wake up, your mind holds no problem about it. But when you are told the world is illusion, then it gets a problem. Why did God create this illusion to begin with? So just like as easily you understand the dream to be illusory, at the same time you have no conflict with the fact that in your dream you go through horrible situations. No matter whatever is, the dream is illusory, but that doesn't come to your assistance. When you are experiencing in your dream, your experiences are horrible. Unless you do Haribol, that's a different matter. The message behind it, while in dreaming, if you were to develop a clear understanding it is a dream, then the dream world will become simple. You live through the dream, and inwardly you are enjoying zero drama. You become Natkat. You are yourself dancing through all those. Imagine how humorous it is. If in your dream you come to that insight that everything in that world is yourself. The bird comes near you, that's you. Mosquito comes, buzzes in your ear. Yeah, that's you. Sun shines in the sky, that's you. The entire dream world is you dancing in countless names and forms. You are the nut. That means dancer. Doing cut, creating a show. That's why in the Puranas, Lord Shiva is described as nut cut. He is a supreme nut. Just like you are the supreme nut for your dream. Shiva Shishta continued, the world asserts itself in the heart of the ignorant. Much as a non-existent ghost terrifies a child by assuming a terrible form before his eyes. The child sometimes, even you don't have to be a child, there are many big people who get horrified by the tree shaking before them. They look through the window and the tree is shaking. But they have heard of ghosts, etc., and then suddenly the mind gets trapped. Someone, my enemy, has sent a ghost, and it's right there on my tree. Horrible. Go after someone who knows about this science of ghosts and can drive the ghost away. Until then, you are in big trouble. Now, every day you write notes. What did the ghost do? So, all that is happening without any reality behind it. Same from profound point of view. Your heart is being impacted by things that are not they are illusory. But the message that things are illusory, intellectually you grasp it, that's not the resolution. It is a great help. What's the resolution is how you bring it in your daily life. Begin to live in the spirit of sadhana and integral yoga. And go on discovering that deep down you are unshakable reality. If you can't handle that, then develop another way of looking. Deep down you are in the hands of God. A motherly support is sustaining you, whose love is boundless. With that, allow to face your challenges, keep the mind positive, and enjoy seeing how negative situations have come and gone. And what you consider black clouds, they become the joyous expression. And each time you emerge out of a black cloud-like adversity, you shine brighter like the moon coming out of the cloud. So that process goes on until you come to that stage, Aham Brahmasmi. Always remember the three attitudes. Hanuman and Ram had asked the question. Hanuman had said, Deha buddhya tu dasoham. As long as you are gripped by bodily reality, view yourself an instrument in divine hand. Leave all the worries of the world in divine head. Let him worry about. You are only a servant. The servant doesn't have to look into the economical condition of the master. A joke. Individual soul is essentially pure and true, but due to ignorance, it seems to be different from Brahman. Led by the illusions of the mind, the soul is caught in the dreams of the world process. Not one dream, dream after dream, dream within dream. Just like in your computer, you have file within file. And more progressive is the computer, there are endless files. Burdened by the complexes of the mind, the soul is unable to discover its essential nature. But led by self-effort, through numerous embodiments, it becomes inclined to spiritual inquiry into who am I. As a result, it recalls its essential nature as Brahman. To simplify this again, 3 stages, 3 obstacles you have to remove to wake up from the long dream of the world process. The first is called mala, gross impurities. Anger, greed, hate, all these that are very practical reality. Everything in the world nourishes all these impurities if you do not face them with proper attitude. That's mala. The cure for mala is karma yoga. Immature cure for mala is good actions. That's kindergarten cure. But everybody has to grow from kindergartens. Any virtuous action that you do is helping you. But you have to grow up in your virtuous action. Virtuous actions should become a kind of adoration to God, not with the desire of holding on to worldly pleasures. You are doing virtuous thing with this idea, I will be more prosperous because I'm giving so much charity. Then that is not removing your mala. You are developing a lot of ego. Same virtuous action. May I develop love of God. Your attention has switched. Then that type of movement becomes yoga. First it is just karma, punya karma, good karma. But now with this attitude of sublimating your impurities, then it becomes karma yoga. All that you need is put God into it, love of God. Same action, the goal is not anything else but be loving towards God. And mala begins to move away. Next, vikshepa. As your attention becomes relaxed, that I have now, I'm not gripped by malas. Now your attention goes into the source of malas, the subtle seeds that we have just explained, the sprouts called vasanas. And vasanas are removed effectively when you grow in bhakti yoga. You allow Shubha Vasana, prem, love of God to emerge in your heart. All this while you are doing, in your world relations, nothing changes. Your attitude changes. And finally, the veil of ignorance, avarana. That avarana is removed by Tattva Gyan, the intuitional knowledge, aham brahmasmi. That's the ultimate goal of spiritual movement. In the absence of the intuitive knowledge of I am, the soul evolves the illusory awareness of the ego. As long as you are not aware I am Brahman, you are supported by an illusory ego that is not you. And that again can be simply understood. All through the day, ego supports you. You yourself ask yourself, am I tired? Ego says, yes. Am I inspired? Ego says, yes. You're more inspired than anybody. And what happens? Everyone also sees the ego, and you have a subtle understanding that you are not that ego. So therefore you begin to encourage the ego. Oh, ego, say it that way. You are behind the ego, but you don't understand it. The effect of ignorance. And when you go to sleep, ego completely moves away. So that's what your relation with ego is. That's the type of relation you have. If this is properly understood, that's called Vivek Buddhi. Vivek, discriminative knowledge. Not be identified with not self. To discover I am the self. But the identity, illusion of identity based on identification with not self, that becomes the ego, asmita. In fact, the physical body and all its realities are projections of the mind. The revelation of the fact that I am the subtle body and not the physical body is of immense importance. But it is still more wondrous to discover that even the subtle body is nothing but Brahman, the Absolute. Turn your attention to what I give you in the Om Upasana. First stage, focusing your attention, pursuing with who am I? First stage, I am this body. But now what Vedanta tells you, stay with it. Bravo. But try to figure out what the body means. Your body is inseparably related to the universe. So if you are saying, if you are in the ocean saying, I am that wave, you are pointing to the whole ocean. So even from the physical level, begin to understand that your body is composed of universal elements and you are linked to the universe. If the breeze didn't blow, if the air was not there, if water was not there, space was not there, and countless cells within you, they are thriving. They live in different situations. Big Mahabharata battles are happening in every joint. Who knows? And all this is linked to the whole universe. If you follow that, that's called simple terms. Identified with body, you call Vishwa. That Vishwa within you, body identity, I am universe. The entire physical world. Therefore, relax your mind and enjoy the thrill. But how the whole world of matter has poured itself to create you in divine hand. Instead of worrying about garbage. I'm joking. And when you are becoming mature, come to next level. When you say, I am the body, what do you mean? This experience is coming through your nervous system. Paralyze your nervous system, and where does the body go? Ask the doctors who do that. Doctors deal with brain surgeon. You will tap in one center of the brain and you work in one way. Tap in another, your experience changes. So what's operating through your brain is a subtle energy. Like subtle energy is coming through the balls, electrical bulbs or various technical machineries. So the whole brain system is kind of machinery, fed by a special energy. That's what we call subtle plane, subtle body. Put it in simple way, you come to realize I am mind. And you begin to figure out all your experiences are possible only through your mind. The body is there, but body doesn't know anything. Only the mind that plays the part, that brings about sensations and all that. So you come to that level, I am mind, and that described as, if you are thinking in an individual way, it's called Tejas. I am Tejas. Cosmic subtle body, Hiranyagarbha. So if I am mind, I'm like a wave of the cosmic mind. Then allow the same mind to understand you are the whole ocean. So this is the subtle art behind your practice of meditation. You let your mind relax by rising beyond all these worries and anxieties and get the thrill that your mind is a wave in the cosmic mind. The divine mind is operating through your mind. Mind cannot exist. And then come to another level, causal body. Causal state is not easy to understand, but you experience it in your deep sleep. I am the causal body. That state expresses in the form of your mind. Mind expresses in the form of your body. Body experience is not a reality. Higher reality is mind's reality. Mind's experiences, that also is not the reality. Causal state is the one that gives you all these illusions. Beyond causal state is the absolute reality, Brahman. Causal state level of Om Upasana, identified with causal body, individual is called Prajna, the knower of, aware of ignorance. And that Prajna state implies you are a ray of God. The cosmic aspect of Prajna is God, Ishvara. Just like Ishvara has presented the entire universe, the Prajna in you has presented all about you and your life to life from life, all experiences. But individualized way of thinking is due to ignorance. Your being wise means understand all this is show of God, not a separate ego. So in three planes, you unify yourself with the universe. Physical, the whole universe and you are related. Then shut the door to that experience. I am mind. As such, I am cosmic mind. Move away from that stage. I am the unconscious chitta. Therefore, I am the all-controller, all-wielding, all-ruler, ruling spirit God. And then forget about even that. Because God doesn't need all that. God is Brahman, the Absolute. All this is through Maya, cosmic illusion. So in Om Upasana, you follow the 4 steps. A, U, M, and transcendental. Therefore, sages have prescribed Om mantra for everybody. And with this I'm going to conclude. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.